It's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
Yeah, here I am. Not in Springfield, but we're here anyway. Get back to the phones in a bit here. Man, this net rankings, bracketology, bubble. It's enough to drive you mad on a daily basis. And that we shall do for the next, what do we got? 2.5 weeks? 3.5 weeks? Selection Sunday is March 17th. Do the math yourself. We'll figure it out. Bang it up. From here to then, February 28th, March 17th, 2.5 weeks. There we are. Math. We mathed it. We'll see what the Orange can do in the next 2.5 weeks to at least make us pay attention on Selection Sunday. Realistically, at this point, that is our only hope, because I think realistically, save for Syracuse actually winning the ACC tournament, and I don't even care. Like, if Syracuse wins out and makes the finals of the ACC tournament, well, Syracuse will make the NCAA tournament, I would think, in that scenario. But would you be 100% certain sitting down for Selection Sunday that even in that scenario, which would be a scenario where Syracuse has won 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row before losing the ACC tournament finals to North Carolina or Duke, is reasonably how that would go down after having beaten the other one of them probably in the semifinals. Even in that scenario where Syracuse would be in the tournament, they'd still be on the bubble though. You'd be sitting down. They'd be on the right side of the bubble. You'd be really leaning in and watching that thing, huh? You'd be really on the edge of your chair until the Orange name was turned over to be wondering, is it Dayton better than Dayton? Where are they at? So realistically, no matter what here, there's no realistic scenario where you're going to be watching Selection Sunday 100% certain that Syracuse is in the field. Even if you're 99% sure, you're still going to be I'm not totally sold. I'll tell you somebody that's keeping that stuff as far away from his brain as humanly possible right now, and that's Alan Griffin. And, Jerry and Red and all of the coaches on this team. They're focused on a little squad called the Louisville Cardinals. We talk about that with Griff, but we start with much more pressing matters, the recent games and the wild wins of the last week or so, as we get into our weekly conversation with Syracuse assistant coach Alan Griffin. It is our weekly conversation with our guy, Alan Griffin. Great to have him in. And, man, what a week it has been, Griff. You guys are not lacking in excitement here in these last 2 or 3 ball games. What's this been like? Big leads, giving them back, hanging on? What's the general feel around the team the last few weeks?
Crazy. You guys, it's exciting to the fans, but it's, it's almost having a heart attack for us as coaches. It's been, again, we forget about how young these guys still are, and being obviously playing so many sophomores, but that's no excuse now. They've played a whole year, but Notre Dame, who's a really good team, they beat Wake, so you knew they were going to make a run. Now you didn't think that they're going to make that big of a run from 29 down, but kudos to them for staying in it and battling, and obviously last night's game, Virginia Tech got really good shooters, and they got loose a couple of times in the second half, and they made it a little bit of a ball game towards the end. So we just gotta work on closing games, and I think closing games comes down to one, getting stops and rebounding, and obviously the offense will take care of itself.
Certainly last night was not as wild, at least in the last couple minutes, so that was good to see, I'm sure, from your point of view down the stretch. Griff, I remember talking to John Desko about this a few years ago. Lacrosse had a season a handful of years back. They played literally 7 straight one-goal games. He's like, you guys must really be enjoying this. We hate this. This is terrible. Well, what is it like for you to be a coach when literally it is just like a meat grinder like that every game in those last few minutes?
Yeah, definitely. It is a grind, but you know what? At the end of the day, our guys show a lot of heart, and just it's not just one guy just making plays. It's a bunch of guys making plays, and the one guy that stands out to me is Judah. Judah had a great game, man, but he made some really tough plays, and he did it against Notre Dame as well. So it's good to have that guy on your side.
I think Red last night referred to him as like, hey, we got a guy. That you can lean on down the stretch. It felt like to me, and that had to be very short list, one of Judah's best games that he's had in a Syracuse uniform. But he felt very under control down the stretch last night, didn't he, Griff? Like when he's making those plays, like he was pulling up at the right time, he was going to the rim at the right time. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm getting to the rim. There seemed to be some good decision making in there.
Yeah, you know what? Him and Coach, they did a great job of making sure we were in something every time. And, we picked on a situation where it best fitted our team in that game. And obviously Judah was the beneficiary of that. So, but he was very, very under control, and he took his spots and made his shots. And it was just a great overall game for him.
And big win for the team. You guys on a nice little streak now with 3 wins in a row in the bag. And, looking at some of the numbers here of late, Griff, what seems to stand out big picture-wise over the course of the season is what you guys have done well this year seems to have shifted from defense to offense here of late. You were kind of winning games, on defense early this season. It feels like it's flipped the other way. I don't know if that's good, bad, or otherwise, but how have you noticed that kind of happen over the course of the last few weeks?
Yeah, it definitely. I think our spacing has gotten a lot better. And our guys are making better decisions. That's the one thing I could say is that they're making the reads. You got to take your hat off to all our ball handlers, and a guy like Claudette Copeland is one of those guys that's truly helping, because he gives you another guy that can handle the ball out there, and first and foremost, he's probably one of our better, or if not our best playmaker on our team. He can really pass, got great vision. He's doing a phenomenal job for us. And again, I just think all 3 perimeter guys that's handling the basketball have been really good down, in this stretch of games right here.
Yeah, I think in the month of February, JJ's averaging right around 18 points a game. Didn't quite have that many last night, but that's a whole month. Q's a wild watch here, Griff, because you're right. He's a big playmaker. He's making stuff happen. It felt like sometimes last night he was in like an and one mixtape thing that I don't know if anyone else knew was going on near the rim. And yet it is still working out for you guys. Like, how is that happening with Q, that he can mix in that flash that he has, but keep it at least within the constraints of what you guys are doing?
Yeah, that's part of who he is, right? And what we try to do is make him understand that sometimes you don't have to bring that out of the bag. It's just about just making it, just trying to keep it as simple as you can, right? But, that's what makes him, the player that he is that he has that in his bag. And Q has been phenomenal for us all year. I think what Q is not getting a lot of credit for, I think people liking his flash on offense, but like he's one of our better defenders on our team. When he comes in, stuff happens. So, you got to, take your hat off to him, and he's having a really great sophomore year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you disagree with this, Griff. I'd put Malik as your top defender, but it feels like Q's a close second, right? And if you're a ball handler and you happen to run into both those guys, you're probably not going to have the ball that much longer.
Yeah, they both got sticky hands, They get their hands on stuff, and they just having great years. I mean, the one thing I didn't notice until I looked at the stats today was how much was stealing the basketball. Like, God, in terms of him, Judah, and Malik, they're doing a phenomenal job at getting their hands and deflecting balls and getting us out in transition. That's another part of why our offense is so good, is that we'll be able to score in transition a lot.
Yeah, we always definitely saw that. I'd say, last 10 minutes of the first half last night for sure. You guys were really pushing the pace, and that was Quadir. A lot of the case, that was Quadir getting the ball and going up the court at that point. Now that you won 3 in a row, Griff, do you look at the big picture at all here? I know, you've said it, Red said it. Hey, we're going to keep going after this until someone tells us we don't have a shot. Like, how much is that entering the brain at this point of the year?
That's been ours from our thought process since day one. You got to think about the game in front of you. I mean, once you start thinking about games outside of what's in front of you, then you get sidetracked, and I think our guys have been really good at just chopping wood, and just, once the dust settles and we're fortunate to, be a part of it, then it's great. I don't even want to say it right now. I don't even want to mention those 4 little letters. I just want to just go about, Louisville. Think about Louisville. That's our most important game is Louisville.
Yeah, hey, you win enough of these, it'll take care of itself. The question we don't know is how many is enough, and that's one we'll all find out together here down the line. And who the heck knows what the answer to those questions are these days anymore when you look at this stuff. But we got Griff with us as we do every Wednesday. How about Justin Taylor here? This has been a huge topic now for the last couple of months. Obviously, been struggling. You guys putting some stuff here the last couple of games. It looks like something at least has clicked here, Griff, that you guys are at least getting something out of Justin. It's really helping out the team the last 2 games.
Yeah, Justin is not just a 3-point shooter, right? He's a basketball player. And what Justin is doing right now is just making basketball plays. He's seen an opportunity to cut to the basket, he takes it. And if the ball finds him on the perimeter, if he's ready to shoot, he shoots. If not, move the ball. There's nothing wrong with that. But the last couple of games, Justin has just been smart. Just his guys not looking, all right, I'll just cut, and I don't just gotta stand out here and shoot the 3. I can make other things happen. And he's been a beneficiary of some really good playmaking. Guys are looking for him, guys are passing it to him while he's cutting, and it's giving us opportunities and points on the basketball and points on the board, excuse me.
How much is that opening up the rest of the things too, Griff? Because it's creating movement on the court. It's something else defenses have to worry about. How is that opening everything up right now?
It's everything for us. I mean, think about it. Like, I don't know what he finished with last night. He had 6 to 8 points. The day before that, he 6 points, and then the day before that is 10 points. And think about it. That's 16 points in 2 games without a play even being ran for you. Just moving without the ball, and helping our offense. So that's another part of why our offense has been good in these stretch of games is that guys are not just standing, they're moving, and we're looking for one another.
And certainly working out. You guys are scoring at quite the clip here the last few games, that's for sure. I do want to ask you about last Saturday, not even really the game as much, but, we talked last week about what's Jim Boeheim Day going to be like and all this. And now that you went through that day of high emotion and did win the game, what was all of that like to go through and seeing all the old players and teammates and everybody back?
It was great. Obviously it was overdue. Coach has been, an inspiration to a lot of us and so helpful in our lives and being in our lives. And it was well-deserved, and I just was happy to be a part of it. It was unbelievable just to see, just guys that played 10 and 20 and 30 years before you come back and be a part of a special day. And the common thing to me was everybody I talked to, we all had a similar experience. And that's, you can't say that for a lot of places because a guy hasn't been at that place for that long, So it was such a great event. I think the university and all the people that put it together did a phenomenal job, and it was great to be a part of.
Yeah, I think I did see in a pic though, Griff. Did they talk you into wearing the sport coat? You did have to class it up though for the event tonight there.
I wanted to wear a sweat hoodie. I wanted to wear a hoodie so bad. And I said, you know what? I got to put the sport coat on for my man Jimmy B.
All right, so we know the hierarchy. That is what is required to get Griff dressed up for the occasion like that. All right, here we are. Louisville coming up again. You played them just a few weeks ago. That game, nutty game, could have gone either way. At the end, what do you take out of that first Louisville meeting that you bring into this one?
The one thing is that on the boards, they did a really good job of hitting the boards and getting second chance points, which that's one thing that we can't allow. We gotta get better at that, hitting the boards. And they also did a good job of attacking us off the bounce. So, keeping guys in front of us is another thing that we got to do. And obviously, Huntley Henfield played great inside. So, I mean, they can beat you in so many. They can try to beat you in so many ways and attack you in so many ways. And we just got to be ready to taking something away and figuring out what is going to be the most important thing. And I think that the one thing that we definitely got to do for ourselves and for our team is rebound and continue to try to rebound and battle on the boards. That's huge for us.
Yeah, the games you've been even competitive in that, you've really come out with wins pretty much all season long when it comes down to that. All right, Griff, go figure. Next time we chat, hard to believe, the regular season will actually be over the next time we chat, as you got Louisville and Clemson coming up on the road next week. So good luck on this trip, and we'll talk again when we're getting set for the tournament, all right?
All right, definitely.
All right, there he goes, our guy Griff. Always good to chat with Griff on a Wednesday. Well, and again, next Wednesday, this is wild, the regular season for Syracuse will have completed itself. So we will talk to Griff next Wednesday when we know how the Louisville and Clemson games have gone for the Arch. All right, let's take a break in this hour, brought to you by our friends at William & Tar. Hurt in a car, call William & Tar at 444-4444. After this, we'll do more things. Yes, we'll talk about sports. There's a lax game tonight. Have you heard about that? We'll tell you a little bit about that when we come back right after this. It's Q Sports Talk and